Hello everyone, and welcome to Noodle Journey, your destination for detailed and informative reviews of the instant noodle universe. And today I'm reviewing the last of the three current Korean ramen products from the Han Kitchen with their Budae Ramyun. Before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these in-depth reviews. Now, as I talked about in the last two reviews, the Han Kitchen is an Australian company, but these noodles are manufactured in South Korea for global export. You should be able to find this and other varieties for around $6 for a 4-pack, either online or in Asian grocery stores like H Mart. Now, I've already gone through the gomtang variety, which was pretty tasty, and the pocha variety, which was also pretty tasty, and now we come to the Budae Ramyun flavor, with Budae being the Korean word for stew. And more specifically, this is Han Kitchen's version of Budae jigae, aka army stew. Now, I reviewed Nongshim's K-Army stew back in episode 63. Feel free to watch that review if you haven't. And I really liked it, although I can see how the concept of this is kind of polarizing. Budae jigae is basically what happens when you throw typically American ingredients into a hot pot with Korean ingredients. So you end up with this spicy red stew loaded with things like baked beans, hot dogs, spam, kimchi, fish cake, rice cakes, and American cheese. This became popular in South Korea starting in the 1950s when Koreans started using ingredients from American military bases in their cooking. And let me tell you, I love it, but I totally get it if you don't. Some appetites may be turned off by the combination of flavors, and don't get Reddit started on whether or not cheese belongs in ramen, because that is a circular debate. But if you're a little adventurous and you like all the stuff that goes into army stew, chances are you will like army stew when it's all assembled. And so, unlike the variety of goodies that came in Nongshim's pack, Han Kitchen is selling this with the intention of you putting your favorite army stew ingredients into it. This is a little more bare bones. It's more or less a hot pot base with some dried flakes, and it doesn't contain your various processed meats or beans or cheeses. So as a perfect segue, let me get to the sodium count so I can open this up and tell you what it does contain. The sodium count this time around is 1900 milligrams, or 83% of your daily allowance. I think that is the lowest of all of their three varieties, but it is still pretty high. And I gotta be honest, I really thought based on my past reviews that the gomtang would have been the lowest sodium and that this would be the highest, but here we are. Bear in mind that a lot of the stuff you'll probably want to add into this, like shelf-stable meat products especially, are going to be high in sodium, and that will drive the sodium count even higher. Let's look inside. Alright, and so what comes in the package are these terrifically thick wheat and potato noodles, once again, a soup base, and a flake packet. In the soup base, you've got a slightly different recipe than the pocha flavor. So this contains things like MSG vegetable protein, garlic, onion, shiitake mushroom, red pepper, kimchi, and anchovy extract. Then for the flakes, we've got shiitake mushrooms, green onion, bok choy, soybean, I think meaning soy protein, carrot, and red pepper. This is not wildly different from the pocha flavor based on the ingredients list, and in fact I think the flake packet is identical. But this Budae flavor has powdered kimchi and fish in the broth, which should add some extra sourness, spiciness, and umami. With all that said, it is cooking time. Alright, and here it is all cooked up. If you're already familiar with the smell of Nongshim's K-Army stew, this is pretty much the same smell. There's a very robust kimchi, chili aroma coming off of this that I find very appealing. My wife thinks it smells like cat food. If you decide you want to try this, you be the judge. Like I was saying earlier, the flake packet is identical, but it looks like the mushrooms here are a little chunkier. Some soy protein there, and overall the presentation is nice. The broth is a little more soup-like than stew-like, but it does smell great. I'm hungry. Let's dig in. All right, let's start with the noodles. And this is easy to score because these are the same noodles as the other two flavors that I reviewed. These thick, chunky, chewy noodles are perfect with a hearty bowl of broth like this. There's not much else I can say about them. If you've had Korean ramyun noodles before, these are among the best I've had. These are an 8 out of 10. Now, as far as spiciness, I believe I graded Nongshim's K-Army Stew a 6 out of 10 for spice. To my palate, right now, this feels less spicy than that. It's still got a little bit of a kick to it. Obviously there's red chili in here. It just doesn't feel quite as spicy. It doesn't even feel as spicy as the pocha flavor was. So it's about a medium heat, just a little shy of things like shin ramyun, jin spicy, that sort of thing. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10 for spiciness. And so let's talk about the overall flavor of this. I will start by saying that if I have to choose between this and Nongshim's K-Army Stew, which would be its direct competitor, I'm going to choose Nongshim. And I'll get into the why of that in a little bit. But as for what this tastes like, it's a nice, savory, salty, umami-forward red chili broth. It's got a nice, flavorful chili kick to it. The anchovy that I saw listed in the ingredients is more than likely a powdered fish sauce. So this doesn't taste particularly fishy, but the umami from that is giving this a whole extra depth that I really enjoy. The consistency could be a little better. When I think of a hot pot Korean army stew, the thing that this is supposed to be, I picture a much less watery broth. Nongshim's broth, by comparison, thickens up quite a bit. This one looks like it's about the same consistency as the pocha flavor was, which is not terrible, but not what I really want this to be. The flakes that are in here are very good once again. The mushrooms are big and thick, excellent flavor, perfect texture. The one piece of textured soy protein that I found, also excellent, very beefy in quality, but I want more out of this. If you're selling this to me as a Korean army stew or a hot pot adjacent type product, give me more than this little flake packet. You know, you could put some dried fish cake in here. You could put more green onions than what I've got. I mean, hell, this is supposed to have kimchi in it, right? Like, where's the kimchi? I don't see it. If it's in here, it's hiding. So yeah, that's my chief complaint. For something that's supposed to be a Korean army stew, it has a distinct lack of Korean army stew ingredients to help it along. I keep making the comparison to Nongshim, but, you know, Nongshim gave you chili beans, fish cake, kimchi flakes, plus all the other stuff that's in here. And so this is lacking what I would say are a couple of very easy shelf-stable key ingredients. So, is this delicious? Yes, absolutely. This is a great flavor. I'm going to happily eat through the entire 4-pack that I bought, but I don't think I'm ever going to buy it again because Nongshim K-Army Stew exists. So, as an overall score for this, keeping in mind that the noodles are excellent, the broth is flavorful, and the flakes are good, but there's just not enough stuff in here, I'm going to give this a score of an 8 out of 10. And so there we go. One of my viewers was saying a while back in my comments section that they were having trouble finding Nongshim's K-Army Stew in stores. And so if you spot this one and are curious, it's just as good flavor-wise, but it is lacking in the consistency and the additional toppings that Nongshim's variety brings you. But look, if you want something new and different, it's worth a try. Throw your favorite ingredients in here and you can have a fun hot pot night. And that's it for the Han Kitchen for now. If I see any of their other products on YummyBuy or in local stores, I will grab them for review, of course. And I have high hopes for them based on how these last 3 reviews have gone. This is a solid brand, and I am generally happy with all of these products so far. So, of course, I've got something new and interesting, and possibly exclusive, lined up for the next video from a favorite company of mine. So I hope you'll enable your notifications and check that out when it releases. And I will see you next time on Noodle Journey.